Another less obvious benefit is that if there some fixes should be done to that PR later, the agent will have all the context. Let's say you start a new session, kind of like completely new session, no idea of what you did. Hey, there is an issue in that PR, fix it, right? With that description, it knows exactly what was going on.
This is DevOps Paradox, episode number 313, Harnessing AI for Smarter Development. Welcome to DevOps Paradox. This is a podcast about random stuff in which we, Darin and Victor, pretend we know what we're talking about. Most of the time, we mask our ignorance by putting the word DevOps everywhere we can and mix it with random buzzwords like Kubernetes, serverless, CI/CD, team productivity, islands of happiness, and other fancy expressions that make us sound like we know what we're doing. Occasionally, we invite guests who do know something, but we do not do that often since they might make us look incompetent. The truth is out there, and there is no way we are going to find it. P.S. It's Darin reading this text and feeling embarrassed that Victor made me do it. Here are your hosts, Darin Pope and Victor Farsa. So it's been 2 weeks, at least in podcast time. In real time, it's been less than 24 hours for me. When we left episode 311, I had homework, and that homework was to set up what Victor wanted me to do is go with Cursor, and if I wanted to, Claude Code. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that would be Claude Code for later. That was my recommendation.
Yeah, well, you lost. Claude Code, I did both, but
okay.
Let me tell you the story real quick, and then we'll get into why I think Claude Code's actually better, which you already said.
Go for it. Yeah.
So I installed Cursor, and I did what you said. It is great. Okay, it's VS Code based. It was nice seeing the diffs, communicating with it. I basically had 3 questions. I'm not going to give you the third question. It's not that it's a big deal. You can probably guess what it is. But the first question was, I'm new to this project. Explain it to me.
Okay.
Right? Just give me. So these were existing Jenkins plugins. I can say that much. So existing Jenkins plugins. It's like, I'm new to this project. Explain it to me. Go get a soda. Go to the bathroom. Come back. The explanation's there.
Okay.
Then the second question I asked is, what performance improvements can be applied to this plugin, or some variation of that statement?
Okay.
And it would come back after some time, more than soda and bathroom break, but it would come back with answers. And sure enough, on one plugin that I worked on, the first thing it recommended was to do X. I was like, oh, that's curious. Because, again, this is a plugin that I help maintain, but I really haven't looked at everything in the plugin just because, there's too much code. I was like, oh, that pattern actually looks familiar. I mean, I see why it's saying to do it. It's like, let me go and see how it's actually doing it. It's like, this needs to be fixed. So I found another plugin that actually did the pattern correctly. And then I started telling Cursor how to rewrite the thing. Like I gave it, go ahead and fix that. That wasn't enough information, right? It just wasn't enough. And then I told it, oh, actually, you need to do, because this could actually be null, so you need to do a null check. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. And it was getting closer to what the actual code from another place actually did. Again, great. And so it was missing one thing, and it was like, again, I'm doing it in Java, so it was missing a final. I was like, oh, well, since this isn't being changed, you actually turn that into a final. Oh, yeah, you're right. It's always funny how these things respond back to you. Oh, that's correct.
You're always correct. You're always correct. Whatever you say, this is another test you should do. Tell it something very, very silly. Kind of rewrite this plugin. This plugin would be better if it's rewritten in Go, and we would be done in 5 minutes. And it will tell you, yeah, you're correct.
So that's sort of a funny thing, right? I'm just trying to, play along with it until it finally, I had to nudge it in a couple of ways, but it would actually generate the code that I wanted.
Okay.
Right? But I knew where I was headed based on the existence of code already living somewhere else.
Okay.
Which is fine. But even its first pass was okay. It just didn't realize, oh, this could be null. So that was Cursor.
Now, wait, before we move now to Claude Code, what is the final impression, kind of after those, whatever, so 1 hour in Cursor? Is that helpful?
That was actually about 20 minutes in Cursor.
20 minutes.
Yeah, it was fast. It was extremely helpful. I will give it that. It was extremely helpful.
So kind of the conclusion is this stays.
Well, I'll tell the rest of the story in a minute.
Okay.
So let's assume at this point Cursor stays. Now, you told me yesterday, as we're recording 2 weeks ago, that I could either use Claude Pro, have a subscription, or I could use tokens. Well, I went back in to my Anthropic account and saw that I had a $5 credit that I bought last July. That's expiring at the time of recording. We're recording this on July 2nd. It's actually expiring today. So I burned down $5 down to about, I think there's like $2 left or something. I was just doing things. Right.
So you spent $3.
I spent $3-ish, yeah, which is fine. And I asked the same questions. Or posed the same questions.
You reverted the changes, right?
I reverted the changes, started all over, just start all over again. Yeah. Asked the exact same questions within a reasonable amount of words. And the responses were similar, which is sort of what I would expect, but it found a few extra things. And I found that very interesting because sure, it got the big ones, like the one thing I was talking about, it got that right off the bat. And I still had to nudge it in the directions just like I had to do with Cursor. Now, Cursor, what's the default model under Cursor?
Oh, I forgot to say that. I apologize in advance. Default is auto. That's utter garbage.
Okay. It was
Because
actually,
that's
for my use
Cursor.
case, it was fine.
Cool.
It was,
but just a quick explanation. Basically, auto means that Cursor is deciding which model to use, including its own model. It favors very heavily cheapness. I put it to Sonnet 4 kind of right away, no out.
So in my case, I didn't make any changes to the configuration of Cursor. I just opened it up and started going. So it was doing whatever it was doing. With Claude Code, yes, it's CLI. Okay, that's fine. Working with it is not as pretty as you warned me. But the quality, because it's using Sonnet 4 under the hood, is a heck of a lot better.
Yes.
It's not night and day, but it's morning and afternoon, I guess is the way to look at it. I thought it was good.
Very often those small differences actually can cost you heavily.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm noticing with tokens and stuff. Now, that being said, I ended up purchasing a Claude Pro subscription.
Already?
$200 already.
Okay.
I already see the value. For $200 for the year, right?
So, a month?
No. $200 for the year.
Okay. That's for the year. Year. Because there is another one, which is, I think, $200.
There's 2 levels up. That's $200 a month.
Okay.
I don't need that.
Yes.
At least not now, right? It's like, because, again, a Jenkins plugin is not a large project.
Yeah, you can always upgrade if you have
if I need to. Yeah, I can go up. The next level, I think, is $100 a month, and I don't think I need it. And if I needed it for 1 month, okay, great. I'd get it for a month and then drop back down.
Yeah.
But I went ahead and figured, okay, $200, that's a little bit more than a Netflix subscription. And now I can use it everywhere. I can use Claude everywhere, Sonnet everywhere. And if I need Opus,
including in Cursor.
Including in Cursor now.
Right. Yeah, you can. So when you use Cursor, you go through Cursor subscription if you have it or not, and then you can put keys to your models and turn them on and off. So what I was doing before is I had both Cursor and Anthropic, and then I would use Cursor, and when Cursor starts saying, "Oh, I have slow requests, you already exceeded your limit, whatever," then I would just turn on Anthropic.
Interesting. I hadn't thought about doing that. So anyway, started with Cursor, went to, in reality, I actually installed Claude Code just to get it installed first to make sure it worked. Didn't really do much with it. Then I went to Cursor to get it installed because I didn't have that installed. And that's where I started doing the first real work. Actually, I think I asked Claude Code at least the explain it to me just to make sure it saw it and worked. One thing I found with Claude Code, and I'm running on a Mac, is that one of the tools that it uses is RG, ripgrep, which I did not have installed. So I had to go and install that.
Okay, you don't have to, because if it fails, then it will find alternative way.
It found alternatives. Yeah.
And you have hashtag shortcut to memorize things like don't use RG, so just to kind of save on failures.
Okay. Yeah, but putting RG in wasn't a big deal. I figured, oh, let me do it. Then, in fact, I did that today as we're recording this. So it just kept going. It was like, I can't find RG. And then, I was like, it didn't click until, oh, okay, that's what it's doing. So here's the current stack as it stands. I'm leaning towards Claude Code for, now this is not greenfield stuff. This is refactoring, that kind of thing, looking for improvements. Starting with Claude Code, and then using just VS Code. It feels silly, but...
VS Code with Claude Code inside or side by side?
No, just VS Code, period.
Yes. There is an option which I used before and I stopped using, but if you open a terminal window in VS Code or Cursor and fire up Claude, Claude will say, oh, I'm in VS Code. Do you want me to start behaving accordingly? And then it will open the diffs in VS Code instead of...
well, I might try that next.
Yeah.
Because I
it's not great, let me tell you in advance.
Okay.
Not good. But
compared to Cursor, what Cursor does.
Oh yeah, compared to, or even Copilot. From the user experience, not results.
Okay.
Results are the same.
Well, I'll have to check it and see if it looks as good. But yeah, so I've been running Claude Code in its own terminal window, and then I'm using VS Code. I could have used TextEdit for all it mattered, right? Just to see. Yeah. Well, not TextEdit, but I could have done other things, or IntelliJ, we'll put it that way, or JetBrains. So that's my less than 24-hour examples. If you caught what I said, I said I've already spent $200.
Say again, you already spent $200?
I spent $200 because I bought a subscription, an annual subscription.
But you did not spend the tokens.
I did not spend no. Tokens, as soon as I saw I was going to start burning tokens, it was like, you know what? I've got enough ideas now in my head of how I want to, because let me rephrase that. I help maintain 5 or 6 plugins, and then I contribute to others as necessary. Just in that alone is going to save me more than $200 of time.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to tell you how much I make an hour, but $200 is not a lot of money. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
Over a year.
Exactly. Less than $20 a month. Come on.
Exactly.
You spend that in McDonald's.
That's probably what I'm going to spend on a ticket to go see Jurassic World.
There you go.
By the time this has come out, I've already seen Jurassic World, I hope. Or maybe not, depending on what somebody tells me tomorrow morning. Because I don't know if I want to go see it or not.
But without popcorns.
Yeah, because the popcorn would be more than the ticket, probably. Why are we talking about this? So this was me in under 24 hours going from familiar to, oh my goodness, what has happened in the past 4 months?
And without really knowing how to use it, I'm now jumping in, kind of refreshing you, but kind of without prior experience.
Correct. I mean, other than working with ChatGPT or something, right? Nothing's, it's like I'm in and out. I don't spend hours in things like that. So if you are considering, the listener, are considering trying out some of this stuff, even if your company doesn't want to pay for it. Now, I will tell you, do not run this through your corporate source code. I am not doing that. Everything I'm working on is open source that I'm applying this to. I am not touching any of the proprietary stuff that I have in the day job. That's like staying far away. Am I taking what Claude or Cursor has given me directly? No. Again, I have 20 years of corpus of code to look at for Jenkins. For you, working with Crossplane, you've got 4 or 5-ish years of code, probably.
Yeah. Something. Oh, 7 probably. Yeah.
7. Okay. I mean, you know what the correct pattern should be. Now, if it finds problems, okay, that's great. But it's like, oh, somebody new came in, they forgot to do this kind of check for whatever, right? There's you do have reference, what I would consider a gold standard.
Yes.
Just like I do. If you're not using, now, again, I'm talking about if you're working on open source, if you're working within a company, get sign off, because the code leaves your machine and goes up into the cloud.
So I don't know the details of what I'm going to say, but I do know that company I'm not going to name went through all those things and concluded that Anthropic is pretty safe. And another one, which I'm not going to name, is not necessarily from the enterprise perspective.
I agree. But even with that, you're still shipping stuff off and out. And that's, I don't care where it's going, it's just dangerous.
Yeah. True.
It just is. So if you're working inside of a company, make sure you get approval before you do this. Now, if you're working on open source, if you're wanting to figure out how this could actually work, this is where working with open source comes into play.
Oh, yeah. Because
it doesn't matter. Again, if it's a publicly accessible repository, there is a 99.7909 after the fact chance that it's been slurped in somewhere. And if you're trying to figure out, well, how would this work with Java? How would this work with TypeScript? How would this work with Python? How would it work with Go? All the languages, except for maybe some newer ones that don't have a corpus to work with.
Exactly.
That's how you find out how this can work. So maybe this is your nudge. It's like, hey, maybe I do want to help with some open source because now I can really play with AI and not worry about governance and risk and compliance coming after me. No, you have to do it on your own machine. You have to do it at home, blah, 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 whatever, right? But this gives you the ability to do it. And then it's like, hey, look, I've been helping with this. I was able to actually make, let's go back to Hacktoberfest for just a moment. A few years ago, Hacktoberfest was just getting a lot of politely crap PRs. Right?
You want to use AI to select crappy PRs?
Oof. Well, no. But what I'm saying is because people were just trying to get the t-shirt back when they were doing t-shirts. But now it's like, oh, now I can get in here. Now, again, I'm not a lawyer, so you have to sign CLAs. You have to do all these other things.
I have an idea for Hacktoberfest. You're going to freak out. Instead of making people submit pull requests, there are ways with Copilot and Anthrop and Sonnet and Codex. You just kind of create pull requests from the issues and then have people review pull requests. And those pull requests are interesting because they're unlike your laptop, right? In your laptop, I don't dare to, there are certain things that I don't dare any agent to do without me saying, okay, like RM, just the simplest example, kind of like, it's not in allowed list. But when it's a PR, it's running in a container, in a VM, somewhere else. Kind of. It can do whatever it wants. Doesn't matter. Just let it run.
Now that we bring up PRs, that was the other thing I did, was once I sort of got the code in place and I diffed it out and everything was good, I was like, write a pull request description for me. Because I was trying to figure out how to phrase it, right? I was just searching for words and just not finding the words because I was task switching too, trying to figure out, I had some other things I was doing and going back and forth. It's like, what was I thinking before? Again, going back to my last 4 months, it's like my brain isn't on 10 all the time.
Let me guess. The end result is the peer request you never wrote in your life. From a description perspective.
Absolutely. It was so much better than I would have ever been able to write in my life. Now, what was interesting was it gave me a title that I really didn't like. And I just said, rewrite the title. And it gave me another option. It was like, oh, that's great. I'll just use that. And it gave me so much information. It's like, I don't need all that information, but here's the bits and pieces I can use. And it, sure, I made some changes to there, but I was able to copy most of it. and use it because it explained what was happening. That was amazing.
Maybe less obvious benefit to such a good description. One obvious is kind of, okay, so if a human reviews that PR, that person knows everything there is to know about it, right? But another less obvious benefit is that if some fixes should be done to that PR later, the agent will have all the context. Let's say you start a new session, kind of like completely new session, no idea of what you did. Hey, there is an issue in that PR, fix it, right? With that description, it knows exactly what was going on.
Right. Because it's almost like, so we have templates for Jenkins plugins anytime a PR is opened. It's almost as if we might need to change the template a bit to give agents more context, because then that would help make any changes better, question mark, maybe?
Yeah. You can go even further. I assume that it's not that all PRs will be done on all Jenkins plugins anytime soon. You can still kind of use an agent to generate descriptions of PRs and information for no matter whether human or an AI creates it.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it was life-changing, but my eyes opened. Well, could I have found these things? Sure. Would I have thought to, with the one question, where are the performance issues in this plugin? That was the question I used. And it gave me 3 or 4. And I was like, oh, well, let's do the top one. And it's also interesting, I can't remember if Cursor did this or not, but Claude Code did, is it stack ranked. Here's the ones you should do first. And here's the medium ones. In fact, there was one that was found. It's like, hey, here's a critical one you need to do, and then do these highs, and then do these mediums. And then as I was reading that stack rank, I was going, this is where, as we were talking in the last episode about Taskmaster, it could take all that information, go into Taskmaster, and go off. Now, let me ask you this question. Mm-hmm. What I can't figure out is I would want each of those as separate PRs, separate branches, which become separate PRs in my working context, right? Mm-hmm. So I would basically need it to get checkout from main on each of the tasks as they go through, meaning the critical, the highs, the mediums, whatever, in those orders. Have you seen anything that can do that yet? Do you think it's smarter? Could I tell it to do that?
To do what? Sorry, I got lost.
Okay, so let's say it's I do. Hey, what are the performance issues with this? And it comes back with 6 performance issues.
You're not talking about Taskmaster or?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily Taskmaster, but just go with me for a second here. Yeah. So I ask the question, where are the performance issues? I get back 6 items.
Yes.
Okay. And functionally, I would want each of those 6 items, and assuming they're all completely standalone, I don't need help with any of them. Mm-hmm. I would expect each of those to be 6 separate PRs when it's all said and done, right? Just because I don't want one PR that's got everything in it. That's too much to review.
Yeah.
So I want 6 separate PRs.
Probably 6 separate issues as well? Or sub-issues?
I don't even need issues.
Okay. Separate PRs.
Because I'm just doing some refactoring today. So I don't really need an issue. It's not an issue that's broken. It's just I'm refactoring. Mm-hmm. If I had issues, I think issues is a completely separate topic, which maybe we'll talk about in the next episode. But I'm wondering if Claude Code could actually take those 6 and do the get checkout from main for each of those 6 and work in order. I don't know what the right answer is, if there is a right answer.
There is a way how to run it in the background and in parallel. I never tried it because I don't trust it so much to kind of just go. Right? I want to see the progress and redirect it. I would still probably create so I would still create 6 separate issues with all the information, right? But if that's not, so I'm talking issues because of the information, right? Kind of all the discovery that was done, right? Now, if you don't feel like issues, 6 separate files,
Right.
Right? Create a file, create a directory specific for, I don't know, issues, whatever, right? Create 6 issues as files if issues in GitHub is not your cup of tea, and let it record stuff, right? I record everything in one form or another, unless it's something that, I'm going to finish today, then it's maybe okay.
So if you made it this far listening, you're thinking, boy, this is a very different episode. It's because I'm trying to work this through in my head. And if you're not to this point yet, I want you to understand the things that you may be thinking. I think, so we're going to wrap this in just a minute because we'll continue it in the next episode, but what you just said about creating the issues, I think is key. I think I do need to create issues.
Okay. Let's pause for a second.
Okay.
There is no AI. We live in a world without AI. What would you do?
Well, I would, if I found something, technically, management would want an issue.
You found 6 issues.
Yeah.
Sorry, not GitHub issues. 6 performance
things.
Situations. Yes.
Yeah.
What would you do?
If it's just me working on it, then I probably wouldn't create issues, but I would write them down somewhere. So I effectively created an issue, even if it wasn't an issue, a Jira, GitHub, whatever.
That's the answer I was looking for. You would write it down without discussing now you're there. So the solution is the same.
Well, it actually got even worse for me because I exited out of Claude Code and I didn't save the context. So when I came back in, it knew nothing. I was like, well, dang, I got to ask the question again. And it gave me a new set of issues, with one of them not having what I was really wanting to fix from the other one.
It's not non-deterministic. There is no guarantee that you will get the same result.
Yep, which we talked about before. Let's wrap this one up. So I got into Cursor. It's fine. It's not bad. But since you said, I can lock it into Sonnet 4 using my subscription with Claude Pro, I might do that. Just because. Just to see. That seems reasonable.
For a listener, just to be clear, if you're planning to use only Cursor, their subscription is better option than Anthropic, because then VCs are paying part of that price, just to be clear.
Right. You get subsidized a bit for that.
Yeah.
Because I think Cursor is $20 a month. I didn't see if they had an annual plan or not. They may. I just didn't look. It just feels, JetBrains, I love you. You've got one of the best deals around for personal IDE stuff. I just didn't look at it this time, and I should, just to be clear. But once I understood, because I'm more comfortable at the command line most times. Diffs, it's a lot nicer to be in the UI, but everything else from command line, it just makes sense to me.
So here's a question for you now after one-day experience. Do you miss in Claude what you have in Cursor? You know how it ends up editing 5 files, but it's still waiting for you to accept it or reject it, all 5 of them, instead of immediately each.
Yeah, I'm glad you called that out, because it felt weird, because it's like, why isn't this progressing? Oh, it's waiting on me to punch a button. And I was like, why?
Claude.
Why? No. Cursor.
To execute a command, not to change the file, right?
Right, correct.
Yes.
Whereas with Claude, the default is yes, remember it, or no. I think were the 3 options.
Yeah.
And for now, I'm just pressing 1, which is yes, keep going, don't remember it, or whatever the answer is, because I'm trying to still understand it.
Yeah.
And that was actually nice, because there was one thing I was questioning. It's like, should that change actually happen? So I went ahead and said yes, but it let me know that, I made a note down in my notebook of I should take a look at that once this step is done. Versus Cursor, it's like splat. Everything was done. It's like, no, wait a minute. What were you thinking here? Why you made that change? Yeah. That's where Claude Code is really nice. That's why you made that change. That makes sense.
My general rule is that I say yes for this project in Claude Code whenever it's exploratory operation. You want to execute kube control get? Yes, for this project. Just go for it. Kind of. Don't ask me that, right? You want to list the files in a directory? Yeah, yes, kind of, for this whole project. Kind of, just go for it. You want to change anything? I want to see it.
Right. And since I was changing things, I was just taking it one by one, which was fine. It's like, oh, okay, all that makes sense. So that's going to be it for this episode. We're going to come back in episode...
+1.
Well, +2, actually. It's actually +2. Because when it's just me and you, it's every other, because we have guests in between. And for the next one's going to be 315. This is 313. I think we might be wrapping, at least for now, the AI things. I don't know how we're going to be able to wrap away from it, though, because...
Once you get hooked to it, man, you will not think about... Within few weeks, that's the only thing you will be thinking about. That's my bet.
And again, this
real weeks, not podcast weeks.
Not podcast weeks. Yeah, just real weeks. That's the same. This has been 24 hours for me since we last recorded. And again, I knew it could be this good, for lack of a better term. But holy cow, I didn't realize how much better it would be. So anyway, head over to the Slack workspace, look for episode 313, and leave your comments there. We hope this episode was helpful to you. If you want to discuss it or ask a question, please reach out to us. Our contact information and a link to the Slack workspace are at devopsparadox.com/contact. If you subscribe through Apple Podcast, be sure to leave us a review there. That helps other people discover this podcast. Go sign up right now at devopsparadox.com to receive an email whenever we drop the latest episode. Thank you for listening to DevOps Paradox.